all right. We are back. You are watching Phalon Reacts, the Boomer and Millennial series. And this time we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We are actually going to be talking about sleep health here with my dad. And I will say this up front, neither of us are doctors. No way, shape, or form. But Dad, give them a little bit of background you have in this area.
I sleep. No.
You're such a dork.
No, let's see. Invasive cardiovascular specialist technologist, and 20 plus years, 30 plus years in sleep research, and working in the sleep lab where I also have a background in neurology.
Yeah, don't you have a certification in
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I do, but there's no reason to go over all that. I just have a big, diverse background: cardiology, neurology, and sleep. Sleep is my passion, and I am a sleep educator.
Oh, yes, he is. And he agreed to help me out on this one because this episode is really important, whether for just your average person or if you're a gamer, if you're a influencer, it doesn't matter which medium, a YouTuber, this is going to be really important for y'all. And honestly, there is one thing I'm going to start with a question I have about, and this relates to us as YouTubers. What happens to the body when you like do a stream for over 24 hours? What is happening to the body when you do that?
First of all, why are you doing a stream over 24 hours?
There are people that actually do that, and I had considered that, but listening, I'm like, wait, no.
Okay, so when you've been up 24 hours, in many states, you are considered to be intoxicated and driving under the influence of either alcohol or not sleeping for 24 hours, you can go to jail. So what happens is we start to have a breakdown and a buildup of inflammation. We have breakdown in our body systems. We do heal somewhat when we're awake during the day, but the majority of it happens or occurs while we're asleep. Now, and it's tricky. But so what happens with the inflammation? Of course, the body can't deal with many of the chemicals and the toxins that are building up. We see an increase in blood pressure. Our ability to think clearly diminishes greatly. You may find yourself forgetting your friend's name or your spouse's name, your dog's name, or your children's name. And that usually occurs after about 14 hours of being awake. So once you've been awake for 14 hours, things are not going to work as smoothly. Now, there are many individuals that say, well, I work better throughout the night. I work better without sleep. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the brain trying to trick you somewhat to make you feel that you're not under as much stress. It's kind of a false place.
Just take the death tickle of force.
Okay. Okay, now I kind of lost my place. Where was I at?
Talking about after 14
Sleep deprivation.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and you might need to explain to them a little bit what sleep deprivation is.
Sleep deprivation is just when you're not sleeping. Your body wants to sleep, but you don't want to sleep. Caffeine, things of that nature that may be keeping you awake or you're using to be awake. You don't realize what's happening is you're having a buildup of amylase in the brain, toxins in the brain that over time, over a period of years, is what can lead to dementia. So there comes a period of time we need to go through about 4 to 5 REM periods in a 24-hour cycle in order to kind of straighten out the brain to see what's going on and to process everything. But right now we're in this cycle. We're at hour 14. So once we get up to hour 18, we start feeling cold. Our body can't seem to regulate its temperature. Well, actually it can. So what's happening is deep inside the brain in the hippocampus, the thermostat of the body, it knows you need to be asleep, so it's lowering your body temperature.
It's trying to go into hibernation.
Well, you could call it that, I guess. Something similar, but it's not going to last for months or weeks, or weeks or months. Yeah, I'm going to do it in sequence. So.
Hey, Christy. But yeah, it's like
Well, and now at hour 18, you may become a little bit more irritable, or you may feel sad. You may cry or tear up easily.
Okay.
So it's starting to take an emotional toll. And then the hallucinations start.
Oh, Lord.
Visual hallucinations are common.
Oh, God. I don't even know what's going on with them.
and so I can tell you that by hour 24, you're not functioning to full capacity. You're probably at maybe about 40%, but you feel like you've received your second wind and you're ready to keep going. But what's happening is you're trying to shut down and you're forcing your body to give you little shots of adrenaline, maybe a little bit of epinephrine, which kind of regulates the heart. And at that point, you may feel a little flutter in your heart from time to time, a little misbeat, something called a premature ventricular contraction, where the bottom of the heart has started to beat a little bit too fast because it's not regulating the way that it should. All the little pathways within the heart and all the little gateways are not working the way that they should.
Right.
And this then can hit the baroreceptors. And that just leads
What
you
are
into...
the baroreceptors?
Baroreceptors is what regulates, it's part of the parasympathetic system, and it's what can regulate heart, breath, fight or flight. So your baroreceptors, you're standing up too fast or something like that. If it doesn't respond quickly enough, you could pass out. You get lightheaded. But baroreceptors are supposed to be there to help you with fight or flight syndrome. And it maintains a proper balance, let's say. I'm trying to not go too medical with it because it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, that's why I keep on asking you to slow down.
At the same time, it's kind of hard for me to, I don't want to say dumb it down, but bring it down because it's common.
That's why I'll keep stopping you whenever you have to bring up a medical term, because I'm not a medical person. He is. I need more elaboration.
So then you hit hour 24, everything's completely out of whack. Your respirations are out of whack. Your ability to do mathematical computations is severely lacking. Your ability to make rash decisions are questionable. And then you go to sleep. I don't care if you're driving. I don't care if you're walking down the road. Your brain says, I'm going to sleep. And you have these quick naps. And I know that a lot of individuals, when they're driving, have had those periods where it's like, oh man, did I stop at that red light? Well, you did. You were kind of on autopilot, but your brain is shutting down.
Okay.
You were asleep. Now, and here's what's funny about that. When you get that sleep deprived and you're driving and sometimes you drive off the road, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Your body kind of goes on autopilot. Your brain is shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that muscle memory kind of thing goes on where you can function, your brain can function a little bit, keep you on target to where you're going. And if nothing gets in your way, you can make your destination.
Mm-hmm.
But a bicycle goes out in front of you, a car swerves out in front of you, you're going to hit them because you're not going to react. Because guess what? You're asleep.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
So I've seen a lot of gamers and a lot of YouTubers when they try to do these 24-hour live streams.
Right.
They drink energy drinks. How does that affect the whole
sleep thing? Well, it's twofold, and it depends on the energy drink.
It's supposed to keep, the one I'm thinking of, it keeps you focused.
Okay.
So
are you telling me it's got a lot of brain juice in it? We got a lot of chemicals going on in there that you're drinking from other animals?
Probably.
Okay, well, guess what? It's not going to cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, so drinking the juices, that's fine if that's what they want to do, but you have to remember that your blood pressure is going up. You're having a lot of problems there with the body not regulating all of its systems at that time. And drinking those types of drinks can cause more problem. And one of them is that it can increase the right heart pressure in the heart, and that can be deadly over time. Now, most drinks used to contain ephedra. And ephedra, the government came in and says, you can't make these drinks anymore, you've got to get it out. So they did.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. So they put all the components in there except for a few that you have in your body so that once you're drinking those energy drinks,
Right.
your body will create the ephedra. And you can end up with cardiomyopathy, a swelling of the ventricles in the heart over time.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying because you lose cardiac output and then you start losing the electrical conductivity of the heart, the amount of blood that's going out, and you end up in something like congestive heart failure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can end up with atrial fibrillation, SVT, things of that nature. And we're not even getting to the psychological issues of it yet. Right now, we're talking about the physical.
Yeah, physically how it would affect you.
Right. So, and you'll notice that when you're really sleepy, you want to eat.
Yes, you do.
You want to eat, but here's the crazy thing. It's not because you're hungry. Caffeine produces alpha waves in the brain, and we take that and it wakes us up.
Mm-hmm.
Chewing produces twice as many.
Really?
So the brain and the body's telling you you're hungry to eat, so you're trying to keep your brain active. Chewing gum will do the same thing. So in that morning, when you wake up and you're really tired, chew a piece of gum instead of the coffee. It'll wake you up more. But the coffee's more enjoyable.
The coffee is more enjoyable, so is the Dr. Pepper. Even though I know you'd rather I just drink coffee. But that is neither here nor there. Okay, but is that all that happens within that 24 hours? Is there?
No, there's so much. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on for hours because your body's it's not repairing. The body is not receiving its doses of human growth hormone that's going to go in and initiate healing of the organs, the blood flow, the internal lumen of the vessels. You've got so much going on that's just starting to tear down. It's wearing down.
Okay, let's go into the mental aspect then. Because I know you had mentioned there is a mental... What happens to the brain?
Well, latest research is telling us that sleep deprivation can lead to an increase in depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. Now, this is kind of a circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you are having problems with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia,
Mm-hmm.
you also are going to have problems with insomnia. Well, and insomnia on its own, if you're predisposed to those things, will cause the psychological or mental issues itself. So it's just a cascade. It's a snowball going down the mountainside, and then it just obliterates the town at the bottom.
Jeez. And I think you were telling me about it causes... There is a... version of depression caused by not getting your sleep.
Right. So it does in regular individuals. So let's say regular sleepers, and people that become short-time sleep deprived over a few weeks, they will have symptoms of depression will start to set in.
Mm-hmm.
And in those individuals, if they get to it in time, working with their physicians, they can gradually work that back out and try to get out of that depressive mode.
Right. So, how much sleep does a person need?
How much sleep do you think they need?
8 hours, maybe?
Yeah, that's a big myth. So you think maybe 6 hours? Or 7?
You're going to say 10, aren't you?
I'm going to say 9 to 9.5. Especially in the group that we tend to be talking to now. So 8 is a myth. When I started back in sleep back 38 years ago.
I told you. You've been doing this since as long as I've been around.
We all noticed that myth of 8 hours was out there. We can't get rid of it. People even do research based on an 8-hour sleeping period, and that's wrong. It's so wrong. And it's wrong for so many reasons. You need 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just for the body to be able to do all the work that it needs, to keep itself in homeostasis, and to make everything wonderful and fantastic. Now, if you drop it an hour, at the end of the week, you've lost almost an entire night of sleep. So if you're supposed to be sleeping 9 hours, and you're sleeping 8 every 9 days, you've lost a night of sleep. you have lost healing an entire day or an entire night.
That's terrifying.
So you want to make sure that you're sleeping so that you're getting those 4 to 5 REM periods a night.
Okay. When is the best time to sleep?
Well, we're diurnal animals, so we are programmed from our circadian rhythm from sundown till about 1:32 in the morning is when we're going to do our primary healing in the body, when melatonin is present and we're producing that human growth hormone and everything it's doing its job in healing. So we need to sleep from sundown to sunup almost.
I don't think a
Now,
lot
in
of
the
people...
wintertime, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
But in our life, we can't do that now.
Mm-mm.
And taking naps during the day, that's going to help you with from being exhausted. But it's not going to help
In the long
run with your body and high blood pressure and things of that nature. It's not going to help.
Because then you're not going to want to go to bed at a good hour.
Well, that again is culture. We have become night creatures.
It's true.
With blue light, people. Well, with blue light, we've really upset the apple cart. One, a lot of people have to work. You have to be a shift worker.
Yeah.
And by the way, shift workers, people that work 3 to 11 and 11 to 7, have 5 less years than the average individual.
Why?
Your body tears down. It can't repair itself.
And it only happens during the specific sundown to...
Right. So you are getting some healing during the day, of course, or we'd all be dead. But over time, shift workers, so they're not getting out there in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is very important. Now, I'm not talking artificial sun. I'm talking about in the sun. We need our circadian rhythm to be reset and reset correctly.
Okay, for those people who don't understand what circadian rhythm...
It's your body clock. Our bodies run on a 25-hour body clock. That's why some people say, hey, Mars has a 25-hour day. Did we all come from Mars? So that's a big theory out there, by the way. But we're on a 25-hour clock.
Okay.
And we need to keep it set. So if we're indoors and we're working a lot of time and we're sleep deprived, everything shifts. So things aren't going to happen when they should. Body chemicals and that we need the body's hormones such as melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone, and it's a completely important hormone. It regulates all the body system. It is not that little vitamin capsule thing that you can buy at your local big box pharmacy. And by the way, check your ingredients on those, people. If you are taking melatonin, it's going to tell you melatonin, but when you get down to the ingredients,
there's not going to be any melatonin in it?
It's going to be L-tryptophan, the same thing that supposedly makes you tired when you eat turkey.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Kai. Let's see. So you mentioned blue lights. How do they affect people?
Blue light, if you go outside every day and you look up and you see that blue sky or that turquoise sky, and I love how I'm looking up at the ceiling as I'm doing this. Look at the blue sky. That's blue light that's being, it's not absorbed, so it's reflected. So the chief component, the high energy, one of the high energy lights from the sun is blue. Mm-hmm. Blue light happens to be what takes melatonin in the body and makes it dormant. Mm-hmm. Because you don't need to be falling asleep in the middle of the day.
Right.
Now, during the day, vitamin D is suspected to turn to a hormone that regulates our systems during the day. And it's not fooled. You can be in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. When that sun goes down, it's dormant. Nothing is there regulating or protecting the body. That's melatonin's job. But melatonin is fickle, and it's easily tricked by just a few protons of blue light. That would be any computer screens, any cell phone screens, any LEDs, any CFLs, fluorescents. Yeah.
So if you've been at a computer most of the day...
Well, you've got a lot of Well, if it's during the day, you're golden.
Okay, what about at night?
So at night, you have a problem.
How long does it take to get that out of your system?
90 minutes.
90 minutes? I thought it was 3
Well,
hours.
that's the let's say the sleep boards tell us 90 minutes, but it's actually 3 hours. 90 minutes is actually green light.
Okay.
So if you're exposed to green lights and green-based LEDs, it takes you 90 minutes. But the research that just came out today was telling us 3 hours.
3 hours?
3 hours for melatonin to become active again. Even if you're taking the pills.
Right.
You're taking melatonin pills, and they're actual melatonin. If there's blue light, it's dormant. You're just going to void it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What light is doesn't do any effects to the melatonin?
Orange and red.
Orange and red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So,
there are blue light apps and blue light blockers for TVs and cell phones.
yes.
They don't work. Sorry.
So
The
those
blue light glasses, they don't work.
Oh boy.
That just came out today as well. They're not helping us out. Why are they not helping us? Well, the blue light glass is the reason why they're not helping us so much. Now, it helps if it's eye damage that can occur with blue light.
Okay. You know how I have migraines. You have migraines. Would they help during the day dealing with looking at the computer?
If you have a migraine, you shouldn't be looking at the computer.
Well, no. I mean to prevent any migraines.
The jury's kind of out. I'm afraid to say on that. I would say wear darker sunglasses.
Okay.
And turn down the light levels.
I do try that, and then you yell at me for the lights are down.
It's because when you have a migraine, you need to turn all the lights off, and you don't need any stimulation.
You know what? When I have migraines, I don't go near anything. I bury my head under the mountain of pillows I have. So.
Yeah, that's another story.
Oh my gosh! I know you're going to.
There's a lot going on. It's hard to talk about sleep in one block.
Oh yeah.
Because it's all jumbled, and I think I need to break it down week by week and take a little slices at a time because that's so much information for these people.
Oh yeah.
But blue light can really knock us out of our circadian rhythm.
Have you ever heard of this? He's bringing up about migraines since you do deal with the brain. Max Alt dissolvables get rid of migraines in 10 minutes.
Well, actually, I have not heard of those. I don't deal too much with pharmacology. Mine is the chemistry and the organics is what I deal with.
Okay.
So I'd have to go to a neurologist and say, hey, does this work?
Because if we could just dissolve it in 10 minutes,
that would be great. I mean, that's something to look at. I would definitely look at.
Okay. So, because we are talking about YouTubers and gamers and all this other stuff. People that are stationary.
Yeah, so if you're stationary and you're looking at screens all day, there's a new report out today. What was the name of that? I really think that anyone that's a gamer that's gaming 14, 16 hours a day, they really need to look at this and the higher rate incidence of suicides, depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder in the development late onset schizophrenia.
Wasn't there also about cancer developing too?
Well, okay. Well, that goes back to just general sleep in itself. So that melatonin, once it's in the body and it's activated, it breaks down to its molecular form, and it floats around through the bloodstream. And then we're getting nutrients and different things and trash going out of the bloodstream, right?
Right.
So we need gatekeepers because vitamin D that's been converted to a hormone's gone. So melatonin breaks down and it goes to these portals and it blocks it.
Right.
And some protein comes over and knocks on the door and it looks at it and goes, hey, your food, your nutrients, come on in. Oh, you're a cancer cell. You're out of here, buddy. Well, if you're
going to yeet them off the planet.
Oh, there's that word. So if you're wide awake, you're gaming, you got blue light going on, you're not sleeping. There's nothing protecting you right now. So a cancer cell knocks on the door. Nobody's going to answer. What's it going to do? It's got free reign. Everybody produces cancer-like cells every day. We have them in our body throughout our life, but our body can take care of them.
Right.
But this excessive amount of fake sunlight has stopped the body's ability to be a guardian at the gate.
There's no guardians when those
When
cancer
those are
cells
happening,
trying
right.
to invade.
Is everybody going to have this? Is everybody going to get cancer? No.
Bodies react
No, but
differently.
you're at a higher risk. And some of us, we really need to watch that. I know that myself, as much as I had to sit behind a computer during college and research and working at Texas Tech University in the research department, you gain weight.
You do.
And you develop free radicals. You're not moving around as much as you should. So over time, I joined a cardiac team, a cardiac trauma team. And do you remember those days when I would be home, sort of?
I think I might have been 14.
14, yeah. So at that time, I would sleep 3 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like, don't wake him up, please.
Yeah, so 3 to 6 hours a day. So I started having free radical damage, and I also became moody, irritable, hateful, angry.
Are you sure you're not one now?
And so that went on for several years. So it's happening at that point. You were 14. Well, I did that for a number of years. So I'm working in cardiac trauma throughout the week. I'm sleeping 3 to 6 hours a day. Many days, not at all before the laws changed, because I was the only individual between Amarillo, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, to Dallas, to the other side of New Mexico. So I had to service all these people.
Right.
And I had to drive around. So I was completely sleep deprived. All that free radical damage is building up. Until August 27th, 2004.
Oh, God, yeah.
That was a wild one. So I go in to work. I'm there.
He hadn't had really good sleep either.
No, and I hadn't slept. So I go into work. And that's all I remember. I remember waking up briefly on a ventilator.
Yeah.
And then I remember waking up the final time
Oh
in
my gosh,
Longview, Texas. That was crazy. I was working in Longview, Texas, as a manager of a...
No, it wasn't. No, this was in Denison.
No, that yes, we remember that. But my final awakening, when I was able to remember, was Denison, Texas. And your mom had to deal with that, because I couldn't remember what had happened. It took me several months after that to get that memory back.
Okay, and just to give y'all an understanding about what he's talking about.
Sudden cardiac death.
Yeah, his brain, he was dead for 4 minutes. They were able to get his brain, his heart, everything, and this can happen if you do not get all the sleep you need.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to get to.
Years.
So once I was healed enough, a year later, to figure out what was going on.
Right.
Looking at my old records and talking to my old doctor friends that was a part of the situation, we found that I had something called RNT phenomena in my heart. My heart was so exhausted from the constant, repetitive non-sleep.
Yeah.
That the ability to regulate its electrical conductivity just kind of went crazy. And 2 beats tried to beat on top of one another. And so it's like a spasm in your leg.
Right.
That happened in my heart.
Oh.
And when that happens, your heart stops beating. You're dead.
Right.
And luckily, my patient was able to get everything started and calling the code.
Oh my gosh, they were...
And she never came back to complete her test, but she was okay. So, those things. But the whole point is...
Yeah, I remember.
Sleep deprivation builds up over time. It's like a checking account. If you're overdrawn, you've got to pay it back with interest. You're not sleeping, you've got to pay it back with interest. But it's not that easy. You can't sleep. If you missed 8 hours of sleep and you go over here and try to sleep 16 hours of sleep to catch it up, it sounds like it works. But once you hit that 9.5 hour as an adult of sleep, your body starts to tear itself back down. It's too much inactivity. You become a little bit anaerobic.
Okay, people are saying they have trouble sleeping. Time Prophet can't sleep more than 5 hours a night. Christy says she can't sleep more than 6 hours.
Okay, so Yeah, I don't know your ages. I'm not going to ask you to tell me what your ages are. Your
Christy's,
weights.
Christy's around my age.
Okay, so as we mature, sleep gets somewhat messed up.
Yes.
We've got stress.
Mm-hmm.
We've got bills. We don't take care of ourselves the way we should, and we're not allowing ourselves to sleep. Now, but the other part is a big problem that's happened in the last 15 years that we didn't have before.
Right.
Was the light pollution, blue light.
Yeah.
Of all TV screens. It doesn't matter. 1.5 seconds of looking at a screen will stop melatonin in your body for 90 minutes. And over time, if you're working in front of a computer and you go to bed, you're not going to get that sleep that you need. You're not going to get the healing that you need. You may fall asleep, but that's exhaustive sleep.
Oh,
but
gosh.
you also may wake up in 15 to 20 minutes thinking you slept the whole night.
Oh, that's happened to me a few
And so
times.
why that happens,
Jamie's
it can happen, is, Jamie what?
Said sleep hygiene is important to get back on track.
Yes, yeah, most definitely. Jamie is my partner in crime at work. So once you try to go to sleep, you can get exhaustive sleep, but you're not going to get restorative sleep. You're going to wake up and you're going to be tired, more tired than you were when you went to bed. Mm-hmm. But if you go to sleep and you're asleep 10 to 15 minutes and you feel like you've been awake, you've been asleep all night long, that means it's time to go see your doctor because there's something going on. And typically, it's a breathing disorder. Now, I know everyone says sleep apnea, yeah, and then there's obstructed sleep apnea, and that 1 out of 3.
Okay, as far as with sleep apnea, what causes that?
Which kind?
Okay, let's do both. Okay, let's start with just
3.
basic.
Okay. What most people are familiar with is obstructed sleep apnea, and that's where excessive tissue pushes together and causes us to snore, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then it sticks together. You're trying to breathe. Your chest and your belly's moving, but there's no airflow. That's obstructed sleep apnea. And usually you wake up at that point, there's a slight and you wake up briefly. Okay, and you take a breath and everything's okay, but your blood oxygen level's down, it's got to come back up and all of that. Now the second form is called central sleep apnea. Mm-hmm. And that's a feedback loop. And that's where the brain tells the body to breathe and it says, I don't have to, I just did. And it says, no, you didn't. Oh, yes, I did. It did not. Yes, it did. And that can go on 10 seconds to 3 minutes. There's no breath going on. You're not trying to breathe. You're just laying there. Your heart's beating. Your brain's functioning.
Somewhat.
And your blood oxygen level is plummeting. And then the brain says, wake up.
That's
Something's
why
it's either going to hit you with adrenaline, or it's going to force your body to kind of spasm or tense up, and it's going to initiate that breath.
What's the third kind?
The third type is called hypotnia, and that's where you're breathing, and you look over at your mate, and they're snoring, but they're breathing, not as deeply, and they do that all night long. So hypotnia, you can shallow breathing for 10 minutes. To an untrained observer, they're going, oh, no, they're fine, they're breathing. But no, your blood oxygen level's falling.
Okay, is that why when, say, like my situation, you wake up with a really nasty headache from the lack of oxygen?
It can be. So where is it at? Is it at the top of the head or is it at the back of the head?
Back.
So if it's at the back of the head, that is oxygen deprivation. It's the same as if you're swimming underwater and you stay under too long and you come up and it hits you in the back of the head and then it hits the temples and the top of your head for a little bit. That's oxygen depletion. And that can happen to you several times during the night. But one of the really funny things about the brain, it's really smart. Of course it is. It may not make you smart, but the brain's smart. So what happens is when you're not breathing well, it could be hypotnia, central apnea, or obstructed sleep apnea. The brain knows that when you exercise and you walk, you breathe, you oxygenate. So it flushes the kidneys to the bladder. You got to go pee. And it's going to get you up, and some people it's urgent. You got to go, and you got to go now. It's the brain's way of saying, breathe, breathe. And that can happen 4 or 5 times a night. And it doesn't matter if you had 2 Dr. Peppers before you went to bed, which you should not have 2 Dr. Peppers before you go to bed.
Says you, Mister. I drink
You
coffee.
should be
nonstop.
able to hold the urine, the flow, for the duration of your sleep. Now, when you wake up, you're going to have to hurry up and get in there. It means business. But the brain's working really hard to save you from yourself at this point. So when you go into REM sleep, your body completely relaxes. Your breathing gets worse. And so a good indication, there's a few times during a night that breathing can get bad. One is during REM, which happens every 90 to 120 minutes after you fall asleep throughout the night. So you can have, 3, 4, 5 REM episodes a night. And then it can happen during slow wave sleep. So it's going to happen in one or the other. Slow wave sleep is when the brain is doing its house cleaning and it's restorative.
Okay.
And so at that point, then it occurs. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in REM. But it goes on throughout the night.
Okay.
So, what's your next question?
Oh my gosh, I lost my...
What did you do? We're sitting right here. How do you lose something sitting right here?
How can you lose your glasses?
Shush. We're not talking about me.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, okay, what do you... Is there anything beyond what we've talked about, what you need for a good night's sleep?
Well, general sleep hygiene. You need to go to bed at the same time every night.
Right.
Even on your days off, you need to go to bed at the same time every night. Is that realistic? Not in today's world. A few things that you can really do is limit your screen times in the evenings. Use the same bedtime every night. And cool your house down. You want your sleep temperature in your house between 60 and 68 degrees.
That's freezing cold
It
for
is
us.
cold. It is cold for a lot of people. But you can have all the blankets you want. An electric blanket, that's great. But the air that you're breathing is very, very important.
No, I know that's not true because you complained that I have like 3 blankets on me.
No, I complain about you because you put the blankets over your head and your CPAP, she wears the CPAP, is on the floor. You're doing a buildup of CO2
he's
and
putting all my
temperature.
dirty laundry out here right now. You do the exact same thing.
I wear my CPAP.
Okay,
I wear it nonstop.
you wear your CPAP, but I go in there to ask you a question, but you're asleep and you have a blanket over your head.
That's to block light. Usually that's to block light.
But
Because
still,
we both have the
covered.
habit. Okay, now all you people, I'm telling you, no blue lights. Yeah, I'll fall asleep watching Bob's Burger. It's not good.
Not good, Patrick. Not good. Oh wait, he's in yonder.
Yeah, that's wrong, Patrick.
But yeah, it's like we're trying. We're trying to do it.
Well, I don't sleep in my Hawaiian shirts, Time Prophet.
No, he does not.
I don't. I sleep in loud T-shirts like Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie, The Labyrinth.
Yeah, the one I gave him.
Uh-huh.
It's like on Friday and Saturday, I don't go to bed till 5 a.m. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so if you go to bed at 5 a.m., so if you get 6-7 hours of sleep, that's going to be exhaustive sleep, of course, but you've missed that entire night of healing and of the body and reducing inflammation. So you're probably increasing the amount of inflammation that can occur at that point.
He said he's not been able to have a good night of sleep since college.
Yeah.
Too much to do.
Yeah, so, and that's another thing. We have 24-hour lifestyle. A lot of us do. And I work overnights when I'm needed.
Yeah.
And my partner in crime, Jamie, she works nights.
A lot of CPAP.
Yep, they
tend to
do.
cover-
They do, Jamie. They do.
Why?
I don't know, but a lot of people do. It's just one of those things.
Comfort thing, I wonder.
No, because I'm claustrophobic. I don't know why, dude. Mainly it's to get rid of the light. Mainly.
Oh my gosh. Well, Doomcock doesn't come on till 1 a.m. on Friday, and Sporking doesn't. Oh, it's because his favorite streamers don't come on until like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I understand. So move into their time zone and we'll correct that whole situation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Kind of all over the place with the sleep tonight.
Oh yeah.
Because this is something that really needs to be broke down. I'm making light of a lot of it, but it's so important. The human body cannot live without oxygen, water, food, or sleep. If we take one of those away, one of the human will die.
Oh gosh.
Sleep, breathing, water, nutrients.
You take one away and
You die. And typically the average human will die within 10 to 11 days without sleep.
Really?
Yeah. So the record
okay.
is like 11 or 12 for individual, but he had psychotic break at the end. He was incontinent of bowel and bladder. The body could not regulate itself, and he was really messed up.
So it was a system shutdown.
Well, no, it goes haywire, but yeah, it will shut down. The kidneys will even shut down.
Oh gosh, that's terrifying.
The free radical damage is overwhelming to the body. And we're creating a little bit of a sleep deficit for us anyway with the constant usage of screens.
And it's sad
All
we've
screens.
kind of made ourselves
Sleep deprived.
requiring all these things. And I know that we've had this conversation. My dad's like, I should never have brought a computer into the house.
Yeah, it's really hurt us all.
Oh yeah.
Especially those of us that, and like I've mentioned, Jamie, before.
Sleep deprivation is
Used for torture. Yeah, exactly. And of course it is. But you should never work. People that work shift. Cover your ears, Jamie. People that you do shift work, you shouldn't do that more than 5 years. After 5 years, it really starts to tear down the body.
And I'm just flashing back to when you worked in the cath lab, and you didn't get a whole lot of sleep.
No, there were days I didn't sleep at all.
Ugh.
Many days. I think the worst I ever had, I went in on Monday and I got to come home, I think, Thursday night for like 45 minutes and I was called back out. That was the worst week I think I had.
That is torture.
Yeah. But the thing was, I was the only one certified in that field.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. And then you went back into the sleep lab, which was actually better for you.
It was.
Except for the night shift.
But then I would do periodic jumping back into the cath lab and working.
Gosh, yeah.
So I've always worked a lot. And I shouldn't.
So they used to work a night shift when I worked in bakery. We used to do one shift 1 week and then swapped every week.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. We used to tell everyone, okay, if you're going to work nights, stay on your night shift. Never get off of it. It's going to be better for you. That's not true. That's not true. The latest, what came out about 3 years ago, that if you're working night shift and you've got 3 days off, you need to try to switch back to that nighttime sleeping so that you're going to have that body healing that really has to occur. You're getting healing or you'd already be dead. You're getting some. But to maximize, to get everything really flowing the way it should, you've got to sleep when it's dark.
Okay. I have a question in regards to sleep and a little bit towards migraine people because there's a lot of us. Does the sleep quality and hygiene affect migraines?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Because a lot of migraines have triggers, and some of it is the buildup of free radicals. So it's changing your body chemistry. And it can cause a cascade, and you have other issues going on with overstimulation in your eyes. You've got a lot of things going on. So, yeah, people that are sleep deprived or have insomnia are going to have many
migraines
throughout the day.
Oh, gosh.
You can have it constant, or it could be upwards of 14 in one day.
It says, I don't get migraines much, but when I do, they're really bad. Oh, gosh, yeah.
So
they're debilitating.
Right, they are debilitating. But the other thing you need to look at, a key that a big migraine is coming on, is an ocular migraine when you're sleep deprived. There is no pain involved, but you can either have the aura or you have that little gray spot or sparkly spot in your eye field, and that's an
Or
ocular
spider
migraine.
webs.
Yeah, or some people call it, yeah.
They look like spider webs because there's always a bunch when I
Well,
see
to me,
them.
when I have mine, it looks like a chevron.
A chevron?
It does. It looks like a chevron. That's the only thing I can say. But when it first starts coming on and I am sleep deprived, I will have gaps in my vision field. Now, if I
Yeah.
go to bed right then, I can stop it. If I take a nap or go to sleep, I can stop it. And it usually, for me, happens at night, so that's a good thing.
Mine are usually during the day.
So, yeah, so you want to watch how much you're sleeping. You want to make sure that you're sleeping in the overnight hours, that you're not trying to sleep during the day. And I'm not talking about 3 o'clock in the morning till 10 a.m. You know, that's not, no, that's not going to work. 3 to midday noon. That is 8 hours, but remember how much sleep you need. 9.
When I'm wondering if there is a link to wearing glasses and a migraine.
That's a good question, and I actually asked my ophthalmologist that question. Yes, if you have a poor prescription, can stress the eye and cause a migraine to stimulate. So yeah, so that can occur, but you can also ask them to put on a blue blocker on it.
I thought you said blue blockers don't work.
They don't. On devices. In the glasses, to help with eye strain and migraines, yeah, that's going to help somewhat, but you want a darker frame.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to turn down those brights on there. You want to use some kind of a film over your glasses, and that can help there.
Oh, he doesn't wear glasses. He's just curious.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
So, you know, but yeah, glasses can trigger it if it's the wrong prescription.
Oh, I know these are the wrong prescription. I've had these since forever. But yeah. If anybody has any questions they want to give to my dad here, who knows all about sleep health, this is what he's here for.
So if you guys are interested in actually getting in depth in sleep and sleep health, let us know, and we will do a weekly broadcast
or
a weekly video.
Mm-hmm. And it will be for Boomer and Millennial. We'd be happy to address anything. Mostly it's going to be most of him talking because I don't know stuff. I just ask questions. Because he is the sleep educator.
So you people that work at night, what can you do at home? One, turn down the lights. Let's dim the lights. Use red light, orange light. Do not use blue light, white light, or green light.
What about purple?
I want you to think about what you just said. Purple's going to bring you right into that UV spectrum.
Well, it's combination of red and blue.
Purple is, did you hear that?
No.
Blue? No. You can have red, true red, and orange.
Can't sit in a room that is dimly lit.
Okay. So I would suggest looking at orange lights. And also you can get, I don't know if you can, you're over in Britain. Can you get LED lights that have a phosphate base inside, and it gives an amber glow instead of a white light glow?
Kind of like the old school lights?
Yeah, it's somewhat like that, but the downside is that phosphorus, bleaches out after 10 hours of use. So, but if you can find a true amber light or something that has an amber glow, that should help.
All right. Oh my God. Bruce Lombardo. Fat Steven Seagal is somebody that was in the chat talking earlier.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything regarding sleep. But yeah, this is all a lot of important information. Like we said, if y'all are interested in this kind of stuff and like to have more elaboration, be more than willing to do videos on like, let's see, sleep health, why you need it, and all sorts of things.
Okay, so time profit. When you're talking about that, yeah, we have the energy saving bulbs, which is great and fantastic. We all need to save, do our part. But what you really want to do is look at what they call true light, salt light. Some of them are called, that have a bit of a golden kind of a glow to it, just a little bit of amber. You can have them bright, but those stark white lights, the LED lights, CFL lights, most definitely will cause severe problems with sleep and brain health, sleep health, even heart, blood pressure.
Bruce Lombardo says he has a lava lamp. He uses lava lamps.
Okay. I haven't had a lava lamp since 75. I don't know. I don't remember. Well, it depends.
They're like red, yellow kind
Well,
of.
it's going to depend on what kind of light they're casting. So, yeah. I mean, if you got a lava lamp, go for it. I can't answer the lava lamps. Don't know enough about them. But what you want to watch for, is it a bright white light? Is it a blue light? Or is it a green light? Those are all no-goes now.
It is quite a yellow light anyways.
Yellow is a little bit on the iffy side right now.
Okay.
They're talking about iffy. It's going to depend on how it's produced, because yellow can have a little bit of green light to it, and it just takes a few protons of those lights hitting the retina, but also blue light hitting the eyes. I mean the skin.
Okay, soft magenta light for one and happy orange for the other.
That should be magenta. It depends
Magenta
on how
just-
they make it, because you can use a blue bias in a magenta. But I would just take a look. If you see that you're not having trouble going to sleep, I would say definitely do it.
There we go. All right. I don't know why it was saying why it was holding Christy's responses in review. She hadn't done anything.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like, YouTube, stop trying to censor Christy.
Jamie, is there anything I really need to cover here, if you're still out there?
I think she's still here. Do a lot of paint streams so it's bright when I need it to be. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't see Jamie out there.
Let me see. That was earlier. Yeah. I don't know if she disappeared. Yeah, they're talking about that. Oh, he's talking about what he...
Sure.
Figurines for Pathfinder and Dungeons & Dragons.
Right.
That's cool. But yeah, if there's any questions y'all have, concerns about sleep, we'd be more than willing to talk about it.
Okay, how much time do we have left?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Oh, the hour went by fast. Well,
Oh, there's
actually,
you and your zone, Dad.
well, I wasn't in my zone yet, but I do a lot of public speaking. If they want to hear that type of content, I'll be happy to do that type of content for them.
Oh yeah.
But it's usually directed at individuals, kids, kids, big time kids. I don't know if you guys have kids, but your children, upwards of age 18, need to be at that 10 to 11 hours of sleep. Especially those 17 to 18-year-olds get upset. They're still PEDs. I'm sorry. You're still a pediatric. You still need that sleep. You're still in brain development. And matter of fact, logic and reasoning in the human does not stop developing. It's not finished until age 25.
Why 25?
Evolution just said it's going to be age 25, and that's what it is. So that's what it is. I don't know why. It has to.
That explains so much for the idiocy I've seen of some kids.
Yeah. So yeah,
Because their brain is not developed.
It's like you kids when y'all were younger. You would do something dumb, and I'd say, "Why did you do that?" And you're like, "I don't know." Well, you know what? You didn't.
No, we
You
didn't.
don't know. Why did Patrick dump out the toy box and hold Krista underneath and sit on top of the toy box? I don't know. Well,
Now
you were being mean. But yeah, so...
brain damage.
But kids do have great difficulty. One study, one more little anecdote, one study that I did at Texas Tech University, and they'll probably say, hey, we don't want you anymore because you're an old man. But anyway, we took a bunch of kids that were diagnosed with ADHD, and they were taking the medication for it. ADD, ADHD, I get those so confused. They're a little bit different. But kids were hyperactive, so we brought them in over a 6-week period. I can't remember if we had 36 kids, and we ended up with 28 left when the study was over. But we brought them in and made sure that they got 10 to 11 hours of sleep every night.
All right.
We monitored that TV watching, because back in that day, we didn't have computers and internet so much. So
All right.
we were able to get them to qualify 10 hours of sleep by hooking up electrodes and making sure that they were asleep. And in that 6-week period, with the kids that finished the program, 100% were off medications for hyperactivity. So when kids are sleep deprived, if they're only getting about 8 hours of sleep, and believe it or not, that is not enough for kids, they become hyper. The brain becomes agitated and they become hyper. And it's from sleep deprivation. So once they get to sleeping the way they should and the brain's able to function and grow the way it should, it calms down and their attention gets better. That doesn't happen in every kid. We were lucky in our study, so that the 20-something that finished, they all came off medications.
I'm trying to remember, how much sleep did I get as a kid?
We usually put y'all to bed around 8.
No, it wasn't around 8. It was around 9 at least.
Well, I wasn't home a lot of the time. Most of the time, it's your mom. Boy, is she in trouble when I get off here. Yeah, because I was rarely home before 9 o'clock at night.
That might be why we wanted to see you, so...
Yeah, so it would
so
be really
you attributed to our sleep deprivation.
I know y'all complained when I got you up at 5 a.m. for those big breakfasts in the mornings.
See, you should have just let us sleep.
I should have, But I wasn't smart then. I'm not smart now, but I was even more dumb then.
You were SMRT.
Yeah, that was definitely it.
But yeah, it's like surely things go at different speeds for different people, so different people do not need the same amount of sleep.
They don't need the same amount of sleep. Ish.
It's just very...
There is a genetic mutation in the DNA where individuals can have 7 hours of sleep. We do, but it's extremely rare.
Really?
It is extremely rare, and you can be tested for it. A lot of people, they want to use that excuse. Hey, I feel fine at 6 hours, and I do great. You think you do, but you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. So other things are happening in the background. It may not be mental, but it can be physical, such as the high blood pressure or clotting factor. Or
that was a thing we were going to mention earlier about with the being stationary. Blood clotting.
Yeah, blood clotting, and that doesn't even have to go with sleep. That goes in general when you're sitting in front of your computer for at least 2 hours. You've got to get up and move around. And if you know you're going to be sitting there for a prolonged time, talk to your doctor about taking an aspirin before you start.
Okay, because that'll...
Yeah, so it's the same thing as like when you're flying in an airplane and your flight's over 2 hours. And you're going to California. I don't know why I went to California. But anyway, plots can form. Yeah, I was neon coding.
He hates planes, just so y'all know. You're never getting him on one again.
Let's see. The 2 times that I've flown. The first time, we flew through a thunderstorm with a tornado you could see out the window. The second time I flew to California a couple of years ago, we had to jettison our fuel and make an emergency landing. LAX wouldn't let us land there. We had to fly to Phoenix, Arizona, and jettison our fuel. Yeah, so it was a blast. The 2 times that I've flown, no, not a fan.
I've never been on a plane, and considering the kind of stuff my dad's gone through, it's like, you know what? No.
I am one of those boomers that says if man was meant to fly, he'd have wings.
Didn't you hear about that energy drink that gives you wings? Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you a sugar high and will make you crash.
Is that a promise? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
But you know what? Going into sugar, we're not even going to go in that.
No, let's not go in there. But if you people do really want to know more about sleep and you want it to be a little bit more formal, let us know and I will produce that content.
Oh, definitely. But we will have a very different topic for next Sunday's live stream, as we always do, because this is a pop culture discussion, and sleep health is kind of pop culture right now.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of people getting into that.
Hey, Phalon, you should try Red Bull with vodka. It's cool. And it is. But however, someone like you who doesn't like alcohol and hasn't tried alcohol and just refused to, if you take it, you can end up with something called holiday heart syndrome. And so individuals that don't drink alcohol the first time that they do, if they overdo it, run the risk of going into atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, or ventricular fibrillation. It's rare, but those things do occur.
Okay, I've lived with this dad for so long, and he's gone through AFib and all these other things because he does have heart issues. I don't want it. No, thank you. No, thank you. And I know Patrick's like, we'll go get you drunk or whatever at some point. I'm like, how about never? And you just give me a just regular Dr. Pepper, I'll be fine. I'd rather say goodbye to my colon than my kidneys.
Now, the good thing for you guys is you probably won't inherit what I did, my heart issue, because why it was caused from environment, because I was anorexic for 3 years.
Ooh.
That's where the damage came in, while I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and I never went through that. So.
Yeah, so anorexia is bad for the body.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so that's how all mine came about.
I don't think I have that issue right now.
I have the reverse issue of that right now. It's obvious I was cured.
It's obvious.
But it's a very serious illness, and back in the day they didn't know what it was. They just knew that for some reason I wouldn't eat and I got too small and my heart went crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think they discovered your heart issue until that
incident. No. I was senior in high school, AFib, and that's when they found the anorexia.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so.
Donuts can cure anorexia.
It can. Donuts can. And I had my fill of donuts, and now I'm having to deal with type 2 diabetes. But that's all right. That was my own doing. I'll fix it.
Eventually.
But that's going to be it for sleep tonight. Now, that we're going to talk about for tonight. It was all over the place. I don't think I gave out a lot of information.
You did.
But we can cover this topic at length, ad nauseum. It is that important. Blue lights. We've got to really, I think we do need to do a full scientific look at blue light, what it does to your body, what it does to your mental health. It is pretty nasty what we're doing to ourselves. If we could go back to the old CRT, black and white TVs and monitors, we could get rid of a lot of these problems.
Come on, give some upvotes if you haven't. Oh, he's saying give some more likes. But yeah, I think this will be it for the night. But yeah, I think we'll definitely have to start a new series for the Boomer and Millennial. A second Boomer and Millennial series where we talk about... Because there is a lot to cover, but I think that may have to be a channel on its own.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah,
I want a whole channel on my own? No. I did
no, who said you're going to do it on your own?
I don't really want to. I'm a boomer.
Okay, Boomer.
Maybe I should change my name to Boomer.
Boomhauer?
Boom Patton.
Boom Patton. Oh my God. But thank you everybody for tuning in. And please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.